Welcome to another episode of the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing. This week, the Secretary of Tourism and Transportation, Tracy Davidson Celestine, and the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Community Development and Culture, Ansel Dennis, addressed the media.
It has been a hectic time for us in the Division of Community Development and Culture. So I just want to bring the media and the general public up to date with some of the things that has been happening at the division, particularly the Department of Community Development. Of course, we have ongoing our capacity building workshop. This program started in May, and it is expected to continue until the end of September. And I just want to make the public aware of some of the programs that we have upcoming and really encourage members of the public to register for these training opportunities, which of course are free. And on the 28th and 29th of August at the Glamorgan Community Center and the Glenwood Community Center respectively, we have the program in communication and marketing. On the 3rd and 4th of September, we have the program in project planning and implementation. And again, this takes place at the Glamorgan Community Center and the Glenwood Community Center, which are the two venues which are being used to facilitate these programs. On the 9th and the 10th of September, we have the mediation workshop. On the 15th and 16th of September, we have training provided in social media for CSOs. And of course, the aim of this training really is to build capacity at the level of the community. Because again, I want to reiterate that as much as we in the Assembly would be intent on developing Tobago and developing Tobagonians, I think at the end of the day, we expect that the people at the level of the community, particularly those residing in the various organizations, whether it be village councils, churches, etc., we expect them to play a critical role in the development of their community and by extension, their island of Tobago. So these training sessions are really geared towards facilitating capacity building in these people. Recently, we had a very successful craft and food fair at Fort Granby. We had wide participation from a number of organizations, village councils, fisher folk associations. Apart from that, we have upcoming the Macho program. Now, this program that we have coming up on the 4th of September, which I think is next week, Thursday, is really the internal version of the Macho Outreach program that we had in the month of April. And of course, our focus would have been on the men, looking at issues affecting the male species here in Tobago, particularly financial issues, relationship issues, and even in issues related to health and wellness. And this program next week is geared towards the men within the division because we are not just focused on the communities, but we recognize that there is a need for strong men and building the capacity in our male, even within our Division of Community Development and Culture. On the 19th of August, we had an outstanding graduation ceremony where 145 young children would have graduated from our Cool Kids camp that took place over the summer vacation. Of course, this program was focused on, allowing our children here in Tobago to really build self-esteem and build self-confidence. And this program would have seen children being involved in art and craft, where they were trained in the various areas. And I am sure some members of the media would have been present to see the level of craft that would have, come out from this training program. I myself was very impressed by what these children were able to learn over a 4-week period and what they were themselves able to create. Let me now speak about the infrastructural projects within the division. Of course, we have coming up a number of projects at various stages, and I just want to outline a few. We intend to do some more work on the Calder Hall Community Center. The tendering process for that has been completed, and we expect work to begin within 1 month. The Hope Community Center as well, we expect to do some refurbishments to that facility to the tune of $1 million. The process is at the stage where we are evaluating the tenders, and some of the work to be done will be repairs to the roof and ceiling, painting, tiling, kitchen work, etc. Work is expected to begin shortly as well on the Goodwood Community Center, where some $900,000 will be spent to do a series of refurbishments. We are at the stage as well on that project where the tenders are already in and being evaluated. Delaford Community Center as well, we expect to facilitate some works there. Tendering is also in the process with that refurbishment project. The Camby Mount Pleasant Community Center, we expect to do some refurbishments there again. My understanding is that all bids should be in by August the 27th. And therefore, once the bids are in, the process of tendering will begin. And therefore, we'll be able to identify which contract will be utilized. And therefore, work should begin within 1 month after that. We intend to do some work as well on the Golden Lane Community Center. Again, tendering is in process for that one. We have recently completed the Charlottesville Public Convenience. That project was completed approximately 2 weeks ago. We intend to refurbish as well the Mount Grace Community Center. That as well is at the stage where tendering is taking place. And we intend to spend there some $800,000. So within the next month or so, a number of refurbishment projects should be taking place with our community centers in Tobago. Let me speak as well on some of the outstanding facilities that ideally should have been commissioned already. And those are mainly the Lowlands and Bethesda community facilities. And we have been having some challenges with our project managers, MTS, and we would have facilitated various meetings with them. And at those meetings, deadlines would have been given for delivery of these facilities. And to date, those facilities have not been commissioned and handed over to the people of Tobago. And therefore, we're in a position where we would have had to take the necessary action. So I've been informed that the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities, who on our behalf is responsible for those projects, have decided to take over the projects and complete the outstanding work within 1 month so that these facilities can be commissioned. From the division's perspective, we intend as well to revisit our relationship with project managers. And actually, we are examining other options as it relates to project managers, since our relationship with MTS has not worked out in our best interest, and by extension, the best interests of Tobagonians. Let me just mention one thing that is happening in my electoral district. On the 30th of August, which is this Saturday, we have our heritage presentation where a number of activities will be taking place. Starting from 6 a.m., there will be a 5K. 7 a.m., there will be a fishing competition. And between the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be free tours to the Bucco Reef, followed by free horseback riding from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And from 5 p.m. until approximately 8 p.m., of course, the usual activity that Bucco is known for, an activity that is unique to the village of Bucco, goat racing, will be taking place. So I just want to encourage Tobagonians to really come out and support this venture.
First and foremost, I speak on the behalf of the Division of Tourism and Transportation and wish to report that the passing out of 22 lifeguards who were in training in the division since April 1st, 2014. Those successful recruits, lifeguard recruits, will be given certificates from the Royal Life Saving Society Award of Merit Certification, which is, of course, establishes and which is a standard that looks at the proficiency of lifeguards, ensuring that they have the level of knowledge and understanding and also the practical ability in rescue situations. For some time now, we would have had a shortage of lifeguards on our beaches in Tobago, and the Division of Tourism and Transportation would have taken the decision to recruit and to train new lifeguards so that we can have a sufficient staffing of lifeguards on our beaches. Of course, the intention is to ensure that we have lifeguards as well as the appropriate amenities on every bathable beach on the island. Because of course we know that there are quite a number of tourists and residents alike who visit our beaches very often and very regularly to enjoy our very pristine waters. So our intention is to ensure that every bathable beach on the island has lifeguards plus the amenities that are required. Apart from that, I will want to talk a little bit about the air bridge and airlift situation at this time. On Monday, we would have had a meeting with the Chief Executive Officer as well as members of his team, that is Mr. DeLolo, along with members of staff of the Division of Tourism and Transportation, with a view to understanding the challenges that Caribbean Airlines are currently experiencing in servicing the domestic air bridge, and also with a view to understanding what the plan of action is or are that will be in place to ensure that we have a predictable and reliable air bridge service, which is of course critical to our residents and visitors alike. And so those discussions focused on a number of different areas and would have been prompted by the increase in demand, the cancellations that we currently experience, the delays, and of course the incessant problems that continue to plague the air bridge from time to time. Out of that meeting, we agree that a task force is necessary and an action force is necessary to assess and determine the Tobago's needs in terms of transportation on the air bridge. We agreed that there will be representation from the Tobago House of Assembly and perhaps the Tobago public that will meet weekly, and this committee will be chaired by the Vice President of Operations, Mr. Jagmohan Singh. We agree that the committee will meet weekly to chart the future direction of the airline with regards to the Tobago domestic air bridge route. And that task force will be responsible for sensitizing the Tobago public and even the Division of Tourism and Transportation on transportation issues, and to ensure that we sit early and craft out a plan of action that will see predictability and reliability on that air bridge as much as possible. We also spoke to the issue of establishing communication between Caribbean Airlines and also the Division of Tourism and Transportation, and even Tobagonians at large, because over the years we have not really been having regular meetings. And in the absence of those meetings, we were not able to plan sufficiently, as well as CAL was not able to meet our transportation needs as a result. We may have one-off meetings as may be required when we are approaching different peak seasons and festivals, but those meetings were never instituted, and so we have agreed that we will have regular meetings, whether it be weekly or monthly as the case may be, to iron out the issues and to determine the way forward for the air bridge. And we also expect that out of that communication discussion that we will have representatives from Caribbean Airlines at our monthly stakeholders meeting who will provide us with information, as well as us providing him with information, that person with information that they can factor into their decision making. It was an introductory meeting. It was a very cordial meeting, and there were quite a number of issues raised and agreed upon, and we look forward to very fruitful a very fruitful and a meaningful relationship with the new CEO as well as the other members in the Caribbean airline team. I want to now move forward to an issue that has been trending with regards to the Monarch service. And following the news coverage regarding the restructuring that is underway at Monarch Airlines, the Division of Tourism and Transportation is making the point that we are currently contracted with Monarch Airlines to operate weekly flights to Tobago until the middle of December 2013. And starting mid-December to the end of April 2015, we expect that there will be twice-a-week flights until 2015. We expect that there will be twice-per-week flights from mid-December. So it's once-per-week flight, right? And from December, mid-December, there will be twice-weekly flights up until the end of April 2015. And so the arrangement has not changed, and Monarch has provided all the assurances that it will honor our commitment until these contracts end in April 2014. And so despite the restructuring that is underway, we have the commitment from Golden Holidays, we have the commitment from Monarch that it will continue to service the airbridge until 2015, April 2015. And so the question is, what happens after April 2015, which is basically May 2015? The Division of Tourism and Transportation, we have a very proactive staff, and already we are engaged in discussions with quite a number of airlines with a view to having them fill that void. Of course, it must be remembered that we have our long-standing partner, British Airways, who will continue to service the route and who will increase flights to the destination as from December 2014. And so we expect that over 600, and I think it's 96 seats, will be available to the destination from that time forward. However, I must state again that the Division of Tourism and Transportation is in discussions with a view to adding a new flight that will fill the void of the Monarch service come May 2015. And I must add that those discussions are fruitful, are going very fruitful. I also want to report that efforts are on the way to increase tourist arrivals to the destination. We have been engaging in a number of discussions. We have been rolling out our marketing plans. We have been meeting our trade partners with a view to ensuring that our international as well as domestic passenger arrivals or visitor arrivals are up. I'm pleased to report that in comparison to 2013, that Tobago has recorded a stellar growth in international visitor arrivals, and we are up by 5.6% when compared to the period 2012-2013. 5.6% when compared to the period 2012-2013. And of course, this percentage is in line with the international norm or the international expectation by the World Tourist Organization, which has indicated that they expect that international tourist arrivals will increase in most destinations by between 5 to 7%. And so Tobago is well on its way. We expect that those figures will grow as we come to the end of the calendar year. We have two new flights that will be servicing the route, one from British Airways as well as that from Monarch. and we also have the Scandinavia Charter that will once again start December 2014 and for a 6-month period ending April 2015. The Division of Tourism and Transportation is at this time engaged in a planning process for the Human Resources Conference. And what we are doing is we are trying to raise the profile of Tobago as an ideal tourist destination. We continue to work with different partners. In this instance, we are working with the Caribbean Tourism Organization because we want to ensure that the discussions on human resources management, the different trends, new approaches in HR are discussed in Tobago so that our people in the tourism sector can start thinking about HR and the implications if it is not managed properly. We anticipate that there will be 150 delegates in this conference, and the theme is achieving high performance in Caribbean tourism in the new networked environment. And so this is opportune because we are talking about the comprehensive economic development plan, and of course that speaks to the development of our human capital as a fundamental priority area for the island. And so while this will be led by the Division of Tourism and Transportation, we expect participation from the wider public in the discussion because, of course, tourism is not just for the Division of Tourism and Transportation, but for the people of Tobago as a whole. And so what we are doing, we are bringing together tourism educators, we are bringing together trainers, consultants, the people who are involved in the tourism industry, those who are not involved in the tourism industry, students, etc., to provide them with more technical information and apart from that to enhance their skills and knowledge and opportunities for professional working. So we are asking you, the members of the public, to come be a part of the initiative as we try to raise the profile of Destination Tobago and as we try to discuss the HR or human resources issues affecting tourism and the island as a whole. I also want to mention that today we would have distributed a check to the Tobago Chamber of Commerce as well as the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Association of amounting to rather $480,000. And this is an initiative by the Tobago House of Assembly administered through the Division of Tourism and Transportation and the Division of Finance and Enterprise Development that aims to build the capacity of tourism-related businesses on the island. What we have learned through the Chamber is that there are quite a number of businesses currently who are involved in tourism which does not have the capacity to access loans from the bank and other financial institutions. And when I say capacity, I'm talking here about they may not have the knowledge in terms of bookkeeping, they do not have the expertise in terms of preparing a business plan, and they basically do not have the skills and the competencies, though they may be operating in businesses for the last X number of years. And so we felt that there should be an intervention from both divisions and from the Tobago House of Assembly with a view to assisting those 63 businesses to qualify for assistance from the loan guarantee program as well as to qualify for assistance from the loans from the financial institutions. So we are trying to ensure that we build the capacity. Again, tourism is a very, very dynamic industry. It requires people to be competitive. You have to have the knowledge, you have to have the skills, you have to have the competencies. And so if Tobago is to continue to compete in that global framework, it's not only regional, but the global framework, our people must be equipped with the necessary tools and resources in order to make this happen. And so the Tobago House of Assembly is facilitating, and we are facilitating by ensuring that the Tobago Chamber of Commerce as well as the THTA put together a program that will see the building of capacity in those businesses that are now involved in tourism and tourism-related businesses. The other matter is with regards to the Blue Food Festival, and we are in our planning stages. The Blue Food Festival will be held on Sunday, October 19, 2014. We have met with the key planners in those communities, Palatavere, Bloody Bay, and Lansome, with a view to finding out how we can do things differently, how we can minimize some of the challenges, and basically to chart the way forward. And so the planning has started. We expect that there will be a launch of the Blue Food Festival in those communities where they will now start to sensitize and make the preparation to have a successful Blue Food activity come October 19th, 2014. I must also state that we have been in discussions with the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs and the Environment with a view to ensuring that one of the booths at the Bloody Bay Lookout is used strictly for the sale of blue food and blue food related items, because we want to ensure that there is sustainability, if I can call it that, where the products of blue food are concerned, and that when residents and visitors alike utilize the rainforest, they can be guaranteed of some blue food products at that facility. And so the plans are on the way, and they are going well thus far, and they will be celebrating 16 years of this famous and unique culinary festival in those 3 villages. Last but by no means least is the issue of, or rather, the Tobago House of Assembly, led by the Honourable Orville London, will meet with the National Security Minister, Mr. Gary Griffith, and his team on Wednesday morning at 9 at Mount Irving Beach facility to discuss a number of security issues that continue to plague Tobago. That meeting was scheduled for last week, Wednesday, but unfortunately it was rescheduled as a matter of the minister having to attend to other official business. We expect that at this meeting we will be discussing security on both the air and the sea bridges. We have been talking about security on the sea bridge for quite some time now. The construction of fire and police stations. We have been awaiting the construction of the police station at Old Grange, and more so the word on the construction of the fire station at Roxborough for some time. We also anticipate that we will have concrete information on the establishment of the tourism-oriented police program or unit, and also the special Tobago security plans. These are some matters that are on the agenda, some matters that have been receiving the attention of the Minister of National Security, and we really want to hear where they are with the implementation of these matters, amongst others.
Thank you for staying with us for the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for the week ending August 30th, 2014.